Hello and welcome guys to my first vlog I'm going to be doing for my game development things, etc. So this is going to be just a general introduction into what I actually want to, what I'm going to be planning to do, kind of what games I'm hopefully going to be looking into, and any additional things afterwards. So we'll get into it anyway. So why am I doing these vlogs? Well, for starters, it's a great reference for me in terms of if I can look back on it and I can think, oh, this is how I did it, and you can reflect and go back and think, oh, what I could have actually done better, what I could have improved on, what things went well, what things didn't go so well. Just kind of like a general evaluation kind of thing. It's excellent for. It's something a bit different to putting portfolio. I know a lot of people they've done their games, they've programmed them, they've designed them, whatever, but they haven't shown the approaches that they actually take. So this can help in that sense for showing kind of potential employers, hopefully, who may or may not be watching this at a future date. But yeah, it's great to put down just some kind of something a bit different, really, just to kind of try and put yourself try and get yourself above everyone else in terms of what you've actually been doing portfolio-wise, and the development you've taken, design, evaluation, things like testing, and going back and forth, etc. But yeah, and it's going to be extremely helpful in terms of me actually trying to set specific time frames for things to be completed. So kind of, if I say, requirements and design will take 2 months, I can kind of go, right, by the 8th week of these vlogs I can say, right, it's good for me, it's good for anyone else who's following as well, that they can kind of follow development, and it's what's the word, I really should have done this in more takes. It's good in terms of you can say, right, I can basically, like what I said before, I can say, right, it's going to take me so many vlogs or whatever. If I keep them up weekly, then I'll say take me 25 or 26 vlogs, and by the end of it I should be finished. So, but anyway, we'll move on to kind of, I've generally had some ideas for games rather than adding them to a massive document anyway. So I'm always writing down ideas. It's always best if you think of something, why not just write it down, type it on a Word document, which is what I've been doing. But that's usually the best thing to go about it. But the three main ones I'm actually going to be three ones that I'm hopefully going to be developing over the next 12 to 18 months, hopefully. The main one I'm going to be starting is one called BitBasel, which is kind of, it's going to be an iOS app. I'll go into these in more detail in the next part, but well, coming up now. But BitBasel, which is kind of going to be an iOS app. I'm hoping it to be kind of like a Super Smash Bros. Kind of esque kind of game, where there'll be multiplayer and local multiplayer on hopefully online multiplayer and things like that, where you basically just fight, have a melee kind of thing, like a brawler on one screen, and kind of like just battle it out until winner. Just kind of quick games, but it's something that's just fun and entertaining, and that can be played quite quickly within in small breaks. But another one is kind of like a FPS, like an 8-bit FPS kind of pixel killer, which is what I'm going to call it. Well, I said I was going to call it in inverted commas, but I'm not sure yet. But yeah, that's hopefully going to be like a FPS, 8-bit FPS. Well, I say 8-bit, but it's more 3D, but kind of taking on the 2D/3D. It's kind of a 2D, 3D kind of thing. It's hard to explain, but kind of like you've got your 2.5D kind of weapons, but with kind of everything's a bit 2.5D really. The environments will probably be 2D in terms of the textures and things like that. But it'll be in 3D space though. But so I'm hopefully going to do that. That's and another one is one I've actually started quite a few years ago called RPG Lols, which you can tell by the name I called it when I was a bit younger. But that was one I originally started in Java actually. But is one I was hoping to pick up again and kind of do it a bit better, because Java wasn't great for kind of it's good. It's good for 2D graphics, but C# and XNA is a hell of a lot better for that. So I'll probably end up redoing that in C#. But yeah, let's move on to more. I've got more of a complex descriptions here. So BitVessel, hopefully, as I said, hopefully on the iOS, because it's good that you kind of. The good thing about the iPhone is that it's a limited resolution. All of their devices are one resolution. It's just the iPhone. You don't have something like Android where you've got your different sizes. You've got like the Samsung Galaxy, which are like 4.5-inch screens, then you've got slightly smaller ones, and then there's always new ones coming out, and it's not kind of monopolized like the iPhone is in terms of the hardware and things like that. You know, the hardware is always going to be the same for all of the devices that use iOS. There's only one thing you can get, it's the iPhone or the iPod Touch, but they're exactly the same. So, well, not the iPod Touch anymore, but in terms of the iPhone, yeah, it's completely identical for every device. Every device is exactly the same, but with Android, you have to cater more for the resolutions, and you have to be scaling things down or scaling things up, depending if it's vector graphics, and which is what I'm hopefully going to be doing with that. Would be a hell of a lot easier to port that to Android, but in terms of just general implementation, it's a hell of a lot easier to start with an iOS app. I've already got the developer's license, so I can make a start on that straight away. But yeah, hopefully the genre is kind of going to be a beat 'em up side-scroller kind of brawler game where just like a 2D, you've got like a series of stages, and hopefully going to have like a series of I think about 14 characters. I think, yeah, I've written it down here, haven't I? 14 characters, all with different traits, slightly different traits, abilities, things like that. But mainly hoping to have two like main attacks, kind of like a normal melee attack, which you can hit people in the left, right, and up directions, and a special attack as well, which you can do different attacks left and right, and different one in the up, or possibly one when standing. I don't know. Obviously, it's early stages. I haven't even started it yet, so just something with simple slick controls, something that's nice and easy. Because I know I played a lot of games on the iPhone that's actually got quite fiddly controls. Like I played Wolfenstein. I think it was Wolfenstein 3D, and it's a good game. I'm not denying that. I used to love it when I was younger, but in terms of controls, it's quite fiddly and trying to move around left and right, and you've kind of got to slide your thumb around, and it's good with the sensitivity. It's actually it's definitely one of the better ones that uses that kind of mechanic. Obviously, there's ones that actually have the two sticks, like two sticks in each corner where you can kind of rotate around so one moves, and that's a lot more slick controls. That's quite good implementation of that. But just something simple, possibly with a D-pad and just like a kind of an A and B button-esque kind of layout, so kind of a D-pad and A and B buttons. But yeah, something simple controls, get some upgrades, because it's always got replay value if you can upgrade your characters kind of cosmetically and in terms of stats. Possibly in terms of stats, I'm not sure, probably cosmetic just to keep the balance right, because if you start increasing the stats, and there's obviously going to be some imbalance going on. It's going to be StarCraft 2 all over again, in terms of people complaining about imbalance all the time. But with all online games, people are always complaining a bit about imbalance. If you keep everything similar, very, very similar, or the same, then there's more incentive to go for something more cosmetically better. So that's something that looks nice and kind of like, so I'd go for like just kind of your elements, kind of like your fire character, your shadow, kind of dark characters, like ones with different traits and things. Hoping to have some challenges as well, kind of online leaderboards where you can try and beat your friends' times. It's kind of something a bit more to aim for. Again, replay value is quite a big thing on the iOS. It's a lot of games there's a lot of games that I've downloaded and I've kind of played them a couple of times and I've just left them for a while. And then so I just want something that people want to be coming back to all the time. Something they're going to be playing, well, not on a daily basis, but kind of on a weekly basis would be nicer. Because I know it's starting to become a lot bigger. People are playing more on the kind of iPhones and kind of your actual handheld devices now, like your 3DS, your PSP, your Vita, what else is there? I think I've covered all of them, but all of major handheld consoles are being taken over by kind of the iPhone and the Androids, just because of one is price. There's kind of most apps most of the smaller apps, kind of like you've got like Bejeweled and things like that, which are 69p, 99p. There's other ones, but they only go up to, you rarely see apps over £5, so it's actually getting quite good value for money in terms of that. But time frame, I'm hoping for about 6 to 8 months. Hopefully I can do it in 6, and then kind of a few months of a couple of months of fixes after release. This is obviously very general timelines, but obviously I'm gonna have to provide some support while so hopefully I'll have it finished and then have to provide support while developing another one, because there's obviously going to be problems. I know there's always something that goes wrong, it's never going to go right first time. I'm expecting that, so yeah, support while starting my next game, which is hopefully going to be my kind of F2 kind of 8-bit style FPS. So you can kind of see the theme that I'm going along. I do like my classic games, kind of more retro. It's kind of playing more to my strengths in terms of what I can design, what I can implement. I can do 2D a hell of a lot better than 3D. I'm not bad at 3D modelling, but in terms of implementation, it's very hard with the animation. It's quite a tough job. It's best if you've got a team of people rather than trying to do it by yourself, that's for sure. But it's definitely a lot more manageable if I just stick to kind of 2D and classic graphics, and that's what I want to kind of recreate, is just kind of modernising the genre slightly. It's becoming, I don't know, people still do enjoy them. There's a lot of people who just care about graphics nowadays, but I'm hoping to kind of grab the people that still enjoy the classic games. I still do. I still play old games. It's always fun to play. But yeah, it's going to be an FPS. Hopefully it'll take about 12, maybe a couple of months, maybe 12 to 14 months to actually develop this in C#, most likely C#. Or the problem is, if I do it in C, I'm probably going to be just hopefully releasing it just for the PC, and then I'll think about possibly Mac or Linux and etc. after that, but hopefully mainly PC, so I can develop it for Steam or Desura. Either one would probably, Steam is probably the first one to go to, and then Desura afterwards. I know Desura is still popular for some games. There's a lot of alpha funding projects going on there still, and there's a lot of indie games that are always released on there that actually get quite popular, so it's definitely an option. There's Desura. Obviously Steam is the main one they want to aim for, because it's massively popular. There's millions of people playing them, not concurrently, but there's always people on there. But yeah, hopefully this one will have I'll talk about this more when I actually come around to developing it again. Yeah, it's not like major priority what I'm thinking about for this one, but just something that's fast paced, kind of a series of rooms, kind of let you go. I don't want it to be too linear, but you'll still have linear elements, kind of going from one room to the next, defeat a set of enemies, so you can move on to the next area, kind of your Painkiller-esque kind of thing, where you defeated enemies in an area so you could advance to the next area. It was kind of, that's how that was taken. But kind of loads of different weapons, just loads of items, power-ups, so you can just kind of slaughter all your enemies. Kind of 8-bit fiends and things like that. But yeah, and let's move on, because I'm probably taking quite a while here, so we'll go on to the last one. Last of 3. I've got plenty of other ideas, but these are kind of 3 that I wanted that I thought I'd talk about. I just chose these 3 as RPG LOLs, which is kind of something I'm either going to develop for the PC or the Xbox Live Arcade, because it wouldn't be too bad of a port from the PC to Xbox Live Arcade if I did it in C#. Then it's only in terms of controls that you'd probably have to change anything, controls or networking, so it's not too bad. Something I'll probably start developing on. I might even possibly start developing on the XBLA first, but obviously I'll see it further down the line. But it'll kind of be kind of an RPG, a dungeon crawler, like a typical dungeon crawler, but more more in terms of text-based than graphics-based, even though the combat will be graphics-based, with elements of text in there as well to kind of back it up. But most of the inventory, the inventory management, buying, selling off vendors and things like that, and sourcing inventory management and things like that will be text-based. So I'll kind of be a bit of 50-50. I'll see how it goes, but yeah, something like that hopefully, because I've got the basis for this. I know what I want to do for it. I've got loads of designers drawn up and things like that, so, and loads of stats and written up and things like that, so I can probably take me about 6 to 8 months, I'd say, to develop that. But have I got some additional comments? Yeah. So he plays a single character, kind of 8-bit graphics, 8-bit music, because I like my 8-bit music. That's kind of more of a hobby than anything. I just kind of do it on the side, where I just I recreate tunes, or I cover tunes, or I create some original music and things like that in FamiTracker, which allows you to kind of recreate Game Boy, NES, SNES kind of music. You've got the Namco chips coming in now, and the Konami chips, expansion chips, and the Nintendo ones, so you can kind of recreate the sounds from those eras. So kind of your SNES's, your we've got the VLC7 chip, which does your Sega Genesis and Mega Drive. So yeah, I'm doing the music for that as well. For all these games, I'm able to do some kind of classic tunes as well, but kind of maybe a bit more kind of your modern chiptune music, kind of like with your FL Studio or Reason or something like that. But we'll see when it comes around to the time. But you just battle through a series of rooms, kind of. So you've got sets of rooms, and then you have a boss battle at the end of each, like a mini boss at the end of each set of rooms, and then you kind of have your final boss. Kind of your typical thing. Nothing too long, kind of a few hours. Nothing too strenuous, just something that kind of you can take different routes with, so you can you want to play it again. Because the typical thing with a lot of RPGs nowadays is that some people do. Like something like Mass Effect, you can put, I'm not comparing this to Mass Effect, but I'm just thinking in terms of the general RPG genre. It's Mass Effect you'd want to play again. It's not linear. It's not too linear at all. Especially all of them. You've got the side quests. You've got things like you've got loads of replay value. You can go through it a completely different way. And the same with other ones. Some of them are quite linear, and it kind of reduces the replayability, or the replay value. It reduces that quite a lot. So adding random elements to randomize the dungeons, randomize the enemies, kind of slightly randomize the stats, so it kind of you get just something a bit different. The random element is what adds the replay value. So I don't know. I know that's how they do it with and that's why the Binding of Isaac was so popular, because the rooms are randomised. You had different masses of different items. You didn't know what you were going to get on what. You could have had a great run one time. You could get down to the depths and everything, and go through to hell and whatever. And sometimes you just get stuck at the first because it was just an absolute. You'd get bad items, so you'd always want to play it again. There are achievements, things like that. But yeah, hopefully that'd be something to look at again for either Steam or Desura. But if I do go for the XBLA, then it'd just be for the Xbox Live Arcade indie games. But yeah. So some final comments. I'm also hoping to write a weekly blog on the website for kind of developments, just to kind of back up these videos. So I kind of do these videos every Monday, weekly on a Monday, and I'll do the written blogs every Friday, I think, or hopefully on my new website. I've got the links on here, so I've got a new website. I've only just started to design, it's not really up yet, so hopefully over the next couple of weeks I'll have something that's kind of legible and viewable online. So, but I've also set up a Twitter account and a YouTube account there. Well, I'm uploading it to this YouTube anyway, so if you're watching this you probably know what my YouTube is anyway, but I'll be uploading these to the website as well, so I'll have a blog updates section where I've got my videos. I'll alternate the videos and the written blogs. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about for the first video log. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you. I'm definitely looking forward to getting around to doing some development for the next one. I'm probably going to be going through. I'm hoping to start a lot of the requirements and start some of the design this week, so I'll be able to. I'll have some things to show for next week. But yeah, for now, that's all I wanted to talk about. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, whatever day it is that you may be watching this, and I'll see you next time. Bye.